The time on Ade's dashboard blinked 9:30 p.m. The street lights along the quiet Benin road glowed like tired eyes, and the harmattan breeze carried a faint dustiness that fogged the car's headlights. Nosa sat in the passenger seat, her shoulders slumped like a defeated warrior. She kept twisting the strap of her handbag with the frustrated vigor of someone trying not to scream. Ade glanced at her. "Nosa, my love, what happened? Why do you look like somebody swallowed your joy?" She sighed, the kind of sigh that carried weight, ancestral weight, generational weight, office stress weight. "It's my boss again," she muttered. Ade shook his head. "Ah, that man again?" Nusa's eyes flashed with pain. "He told me to come to work on Saturday. Ade, you know I don't work weekends, and this Saturday is special. Your birthday. I've been planning your surprise for weeks." Ade touched her hand. "Sorry, my love." "But he insisted," she continued, her voice trembling. "And he said if I don't come, he will sack me." Ade nearly hit his brakes. "Sack you? For not working on your husband's birthday?" "That man is mean," she whispered. "In fact, he is wicked." She paused and blinked fast, trying to hold back tears. "You remember when I did that surgery? Doctor said I should have 2 weeks rest. He sent email for me to resume in 3 days. But when other staff complain of small headache, he gives them 1 week sick leave. Ade, why is he like this to me? Why?" Ade clenched his jaw. "Because you are too good, that's why." Nusa gave a sad chuckle. "Sometimes I feel like an octopus at work. Project planning, resource management, risk, communication, quality, everything. I do all. Then when I finish, he gives the project to someone else to present to clients." "And they take credit for it?" Ade asked. "All the time," she replied bitterly. "He even denied me promotion 4 times. Ade shook his head slowly. "See, this is very troubling." Nosa folded her arms and leaned back. "But don't worry, I have a plan. A very effective plan." Ade frowned. "I don't like that tone, Nosa. What are you planning?" She lifted her chin proudly. "I will finish the project. Then submit the wrong presentation. Let the foreign investors reject it. Let the company lose the multi-billion-dollar contract. Let them all feel what I feel." Ade gasped. "Nosa, no. You know the scripture. Do not repay evil for evil, but always try to do good to each other and to all people." "It's too late," she said. "My mind is made up." The next few weeks flew like Lagos traffic during fuel scarcity. Slow, stressful, and noisy. Nosa worked day and night to finish the colossal project. Her colleagues pretended to help while ensuring she got burdened with everything. But Nosa didn't care. She had her revenge plan. Finally, one evening, she placed 2 folders on her desk. The blue folder had the correct documents, while the red folder had the wrong documents. She smiled wickedly. Let the show begin. Her boss burst into her office. "Give the documents to Stephen immediately. International investors are seated. Don't waste our time," he stormed out. Unknown to Nosa, 2 jealous colleagues, Fumi and Chuks, had been spying through the glass partition. "That girl thinks she's smart," Fumi whispered. "Let's scatter her plan," Chuks replied. "She cannot be the star of this company." So they sneaked in when she stepped out briefly, and in a burst of dark joy, they swapped the contents of the folders. The correct document they put in the red folder, while the wrong documents were placed inside the blue folder. Both of them high-fived each other, thinking they had ruined Nusa's reputation forever. If only they knew. Moments later, Stephen and Nosa entered. She grabbed the red folder, assuming it held the wrong document, and handed it to him. Stephen rushed out to start the presentation. Nosa smirked, but then Ade's voice echoed in her mind. Do not pay back evil for evil. Try to do good to all people. Her smile faded. A strange uneasiness washed over her. Her heartbeat danced a strange drum rhythm. No, I can't do this. She reached for the blue folder, intending to replace the red one before the presentation started. But when she got to the door, it didn't budge. She tried again. Nothing. Then she heard faint snickering outside. Her terrible colleagues had locked her in. She rattled the door like a trapped lioness, frustration rising like boiling water. No, this can't be happening, she cried, kicking the door. Where was her phone? On her desk. Dead. The office intercom? Only available outside. Panic rose inside her like flood water. She paced around the office, almost tearing her hair out. Her heels clicked rapidly on the tiled floor like someone performing a tap dance. Then she noticed something. A window. A small window, slightly open, high up the wall, like a divine escape route. She grabbed a chair, climbed it, and wriggled herself through the window with the grace of someone who had never attempted such gymnastics in her life. With a thud, she landed on a patch of grass outside and immediately bolted for the front entrance. She ran as though angels were pushing her feet from behind. Her high heels clacked violently. One heel bent sideways. She hissed, kicked off both shoes, and ran barefoot. She entered the building, sprinting toward the conference room, the blue folder in hand. Her breath was gone. Her legs shook. Her heart hammered. She reached the conference room doors, chest heaving, sweat dripping, mind racing. She pushed the door open and froze. Nosa blinked, then blinked again, because what she saw didn't make sense. The entire boardroom was clapping. Foreign investors were smiling, nodding, even giving standing ovations. Stephen was glowing like someone who had just won the presidential elections. Her wicked boss, he was smiling too. Smiling so wide, his dimples had dimples. Nosa, someone shouted, brilliant work. This is groundbreaking. A masterpiece. She nearly dropped the blue folder. Ha! She whispered. Are they insane? The chairman, the feared, dreaded, impossible to please chairman, stood up. This man hardly smiled, but today, his smile was large enough to power the entire PHCN grid. Ladies and gentlemen, he said grandly, we have just witnessed the finest project presentation in the history of this company. Nosa's jaw fell open. We owe it all to one person, he continued, his gaze melting into pride. She looked behind herself in confusion. One person who has carried this company on her back even when I intentionally made things difficult for her. The whole room gasped, including Nosa. Why? She squeaked. To test her, the chairman replied, to see if she would break or remain steadfast. He turned to her fully. Nosa, you never disappointed. Not once. You embody resilience, excellence, and integrity. He paused, lifted a hand, and announced, I am retiring, and the next CEO of this company is Nosa. The room erupted. Nosa stood frozen like a mannequin. Her mind replayed the moment she handed Stephen the red folder. But the red folder had the wrong documents. Did she mix them up? Did Stephen somehow switch them? Did the angels of heaven edit the content mid-flight? Or a sudden realization hit her. Funmi and Chooks, those two jealous colleagues, had unknowingly helped her by swapping the documents. Her enemies, without meaning to, became the agents of her blessing. God was definitely laughing somewhere. As the applause continued, Nosa scanned the back of the room and saw Funmi and Chooks standing stiffly like malfunctioning robots. They looked like two goats waiting to be slaughtered. If Nosa becomes CEO, Funmi whispered, our jobs are finished. Chooks wiped his sweat. We are dead men walking. Nosa almost burst out laughing, but a gentle nudge in her spirit reminded her of the verse she had been running from. See that no one pays back evil for evil, but always try to do good to each other and to all people. She took a deep breath. Then another twist came. The chairman approached her again. One more thing, he said. We are offering you not just the CEO role, but a full partnership stake. The foreign investors want you to lead the global expansion. Nosa staggered. Me? She whispered. Yes, you. Her eyes flooded with tears, not of sorrow this time, but of joy. Her cup had overflowed. Her table had been set in the presence of her enemies. Her red folder had turned into a miracle folder. She turned toward Funmi and Chooks. They trembled like two chickens in harmattan breeze. Nosa walked up to them slowly. They shut their eyes tight, expecting their sack letters. But instead, she said softly, I forgive you. Their eyes popped open. You do? Funmi stammered. Yes, Nosa replied with a smile. Because sometimes God uses the foolish things to bring about his perfect plan. She shook their hands and added, and I'm not sacking you, but you both will undergo 6 months of mandatory ethics and accountability training. The relief on their faces was comical. That evening, at home, Ade smiled proudly at his wife. The woman who had nearly sabotaged her destiny was now the CEO. He approached her, whispering, I told you, didn't I? Do not repay evil for evil. Nosa laughed through tears. Ade, you won't believe this story, even if I write it as a Nollywood script. He hugged her. She leaned into him, and in that moment, Nosa realized something powerful. When God decides to elevate you, no wicked boss, no jealous colleague, no locked door, no swapped folder, nothing can stop what he has ordained. Weeks later, Nosa sat in her new office, an office bigger than her former boss's ego. Her name shined in gold letters on the glass door. Nosa Adewale, Chief Executive Officer. She smiled every day, not because life had become easy, but because she had learned something unforgettable. Sometimes, the red folder you fear is actually the key to your breakthrough. Sometimes, the people planning your downfall accidentally push you upward. And sometimes, God hides your promotion inside the very thing meant to disgrace you. As she signed her first official document as CEO, she whispered, Lord, thank you for turning my revenge plan into a redemption story. She picked up her phone to call Ade. Ade, she said, prepare yourself. This year's birthday celebration will be legendary. In the end, Nosa learned that it's best to make sure that nobody pays back wrong for wrong, but always strive to do what is good for each other and for everyone else. Like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for more illustrations of inspiring African stories.